Hey guys, I'm Shmi and I'm back in London from all of my recent travels around Monaco that you've probably been seeing. I've had an awful lot of fun, especially with the new cars. The Blue Crew, one of which is parked right here, the 675 LT, tucked away under the cover in my parking space here in my garage in London. But this video is actually all going to be about this car, the BMW X6 M50d. Now, you might remember that I first revealed this car, and I'm just going to move around to try and get the lights to turn back on. I first revealed the car, well, it was about 6 months ago now. 5 months ago, I think I've had it. The car is a long-term loaner car from BMW UK, the X6 M50d, 3-litre tri-turbo diesel, 384 horsepower. Now, in that sort of time I've had the car, I've used it an awful lot. Remember, it arrived just after the Where Shmi tour, where I'd been using the BMW M4 from BMW UK for the tour around Europe. Then I went off and did gumball with my 650S and with the Bentley Supersports. And then came back home and started using the X6 M50d. So I used it as my sort of daily kind of car for practical purposes, for moving stuff around, for driving around with different people for quite a while. Then I sold the 650S in July, the end of July. So for 2 months it was actually my only car. I mean, I had an Abarth as well, but I basically never used that and then sold it shortly after. So for 2 months it was my only car. I took it on a 3-week tour around Europe, 3.5 weeks I think it was in the end. The X6 tour, I'm sure you saw some of that content. A lot of fun. We visited some awesome places, starting off in the Netherlands, going down through Germany, through Brabus, all the way down towards the Alps, where I then swapped into a GT3 RS. But I've done quite a lot of miles in the X6 M50d. In fact, in total, I've done just shy of 6,000. It's about 5,700 miles I've now driven on this car, and I can only really say I've got good things to say about it. But I'll get through to more of that. I mean, from a looks point of view, I know the X6 is spectacularly Marmite. There's a huge mixed opinion about it, because it's sort of a big car, but they've gone for the sporty looks, which has some compromises in terms of space and practicality. No question though, inside it's pure luxury and comfort, and I can tell you from doing some seriously long miles, obviously one day I think I was on the road for 12 hours or so, it's a good place to be in here. There's loads of adjustment to the seats, the displays and electronics are all very, very neat and work together. So looks wise, it's the mixed opinion. I personally like it and I love it in this red. The new design of this new model, of course the new facelift, certainly pulls together quite nicely versus the previous shape where you have now the headlights that come through to the grille, and just generally slightly more refined appearance. So I've done, well, my 6,000 miles. It's achieved about 30 miles per gallon, which when you consider I did loads of that around Europe has been pretty efficient and cost-wise insignificant compared to the cars I'm used to driving. The supercars obviously aren't going to be getting 30 mpg. I've got loads of luggage space. The boot's obviously huge. They've just installed, I think, new lights here in my garage. This is new to me. Normally they stay on. I'll move around a little bit. Like I said, I've been away for a month, so this is all fairly new to me getting back here and failing miserably right now. But this is quite funny. Come on, lights. There we go. Yeah, so the reason I'm making this video is that I'm actually about to say goodbye to this car in a couple of days. No, actually tomorrow. I tell a lie. It's being picked up and I'm going to have to say farewell to it. Now, of course, I currently also have my GT4 that's here in London, just parked around the corner. But the FF, my practical car, is down in Monaco, so I have no full-seat car in London at the moment. But I'll bring the FF back in a couple of weeks' time. So, like I said, yeah, the X6 is going to go back to BMW. I'm going to jump in it now and take it for a sort of final drive, as you will, and remind myself what it's all about, having not really been here to drive it for the last couple of weeks, sadly, which is not what it deserves. So let's jump in, go for a short drive. Driving the car in central London then, and this is obviously not its natural habitat. This car is rather large, so it's not made to be sat in the traffic jams of London. However, of course, you have all the sort of things like stop-start, engine cutting off to save on emissions. You have an automatic hill hold, so if you come to a standstill, the park brake will apply itself, so it's not going to roll away on you. All that kind of stuff makes it quite easy to drive, and it's actually my first proper time driving an SUV, and it's quite nice, the seating position being raised up so much, driving around town, because you see everything. You can fully plan what's going on, and is the engine going to stop on me? There we go, stop start. Then you press the accelerator and it obviously comes back to life. But yeah, it's my first time driving an SUV in the city, and I quite like that viewing position. Obviously it's a very big car, it's very wide, so when you go down small tight roads it can be a little bit challenging to position it correctly. But the flip side is, because of the extra visibility and view you've got, sorry, just navigating the traffic here, because of the view you've got, it makes it quite easy to position from that point of view. Not too worried about hitting a mirror off or anything. And obviously the flip side is you've got 5 seats, lots of comfort. You've got lots and lots of luggage space. There are storage pockets absolutely everywhere. Massive door pockets, cup holder, sort of bottle holders down at the front of the doors. Probably fit like a 2-litre bottle down there. Cup holders in the middle, more storage space. You've got this big, massive armrest storage box. The iPod and stuff is all in there. Big glove box. So even though some of the space is sacrificed for the sporty coupe shape of the car, there's a huge boot. You can fit people in the back seat, no problems at all. You know, if I have the driver's seat in my position, I can sit like jumping straight into the back very, very comfortably. And you might think that, I think the previous Gen X6 lost a little bit by way of headroom in the back, but this one has no such problems. Dealing with rush hour in London, cars and bikes and scooters and crazy people everywhere, and I don't want to hit anyone, but that's another thing. The visibility is actually pretty good. The door mirrors are huge, so you can see a lot back and around you. There's not too much blocked off by the C-pillar. You can see backwards, out the corners fine. You have rear view camera, front view camera, surround view camera, where you can look down and park properly. So even though it's a big car, it's pretty easy actually to park this car and to navigate it through tight spaces, because you know you're not going to hit anything. You've got the camera system that's literally showing you everything, so that makes it quite a doddle. And then the steering's pretty light, so when you're driving at low speeds, it's very, very chilled and relaxing and gentle to drive, and you just get on and go and cruise. So I've found that I've used it, you know, in London quite comfortably, whereas initially I might have had a freak out that the thing was huge and going to cause me trouble. You can't see this at all, but I'm literally looking at a person on a horse, holding another horse on the other side, and a dog on a lead on the other side. That's actually a thing. I don't know what's going on. Actually, you might catch a quick glimpse as we cross here. Right here. Unusual. Yeah, so I was saying basically for driving the car every day, it's done me a pretty good service. I think, I mean, most of my miles have been motorway miles, but I've done a fair few hours in it, driving around London. You know, obviously navigate speed bumps and all of that very, very well. And I've done a couple of bits of driving on sporty roads where you put the car, you know, into sport mode. You get the sort of artificial engine noise, which makes the diesel sound a bit like a petrol car, which is a bit strange. That noise. But it firms up the suspension and steering, and it's actually nowhere nearly as wafty to drive as you'd think. It's so much more planted than I think you'd ever initially anticipate it could be. So as you can tell, it's a bit firmer there. I wonder why that menu beeped at us. But yeah, putting it back into comfort with the next speed bump is much better. So yeah, I mean, from a driving point of view, I've loved the car. Very, very sad to see it go. Purposes for me using it have been truly brilliant. And I'm quite tempted to, you know, find another SUV to fill its spaces now. Having just parked up, let me show you why you have the surround view camera system. How easy is it to put a car in a space when you can be that precise? It's truly, truly brilliant. Makes life such a doddle. And of course, stop it into park. Put the door. Oh, I left the ignition on. Stop button tucked in here. Except I did it the wrong way, because I've been waiting while I turn the camera on. There we go, engine off. Nice and easy. So yeah, the car's coming up to 9,500 miles now. I do love the displays. Very nice. And although it's pretty wet and grim, let's take a little look around. Actually doesn't, I think, look too dirty on the camera. In person it's covered in rubbish and muck. So yeah, I think it's, you know, from a looks point of view, it's this shape that gets people. Some people love it, some people hate it. The back sits so high. The reason it does, of course, is to get the headroom inside, which, like I said, is not an issue at all. You have some fun stuff, you know, like the wave your foot under the back and it opens the boot, which is wonderful. And you know, lots and lots of convenience features. The shelf, the seats fold down, the through load for skis and things. There's also actually loads more space under the boot floor, but it has the higher boot floor, so if you're lifting a suitcase in, for example, you don't have to lift it and put it down. It's less far to go, which makes life a little bit easier. Fold that back. You can close the boot by pressing that, or you can do the wavy foot thing. It'll shut itself down. I do find the name funny, the X6 M50d. Make a joke with the McLaren chap that it's MSO'd, just like my McLaren. Yeah, McLaren Special Operations. X6 McLaren Special Operation. No, it's not, but it's flamenco red. Lovely colour when it's clean, sort of pearlescent deep red. Always looks nice. I like it with the sort of dual tone design on the wheels. The interior, you can see there, the seats in my driving position. If I get in, excusing the umbrella on the floor. Loads and loads of room in front of me, and a fair bit of room above me. I'm what, 5'10", 5'11"? No idea what that is in meters. Yeah, it works nicely. You've got a nice armrest back here with all sorts of bits and pieces, cup holders, a storage bucket as well. So for long distance cruising and stuff, this car is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. For the kind of daily driving I've done, doesn't do too badly either. So yeah, very, very happy with everything in here. Just show you around a little bit what you didn't see while I was talking when I was driving. And you've got all the iDrive controls for the massive digital display you've got up there. But I did a full tour of the car when I got it back in June. So you've probably seen it all before, and if you haven't, do go check that out. And I ran you over a bit more the specification of this specific model, so all the options and things and what this has, like Harman Kardon Hi-Fi, and showing you the different camera systems and bits and pieces. But yeah, it's time to say farewell. I'm going to put it back in the garage and it'll be off to BMW tomorrow. It's been a good innings. Very much enjoyed the M4 and the X6, of course. But it's time for it to move on, and we will see what happens next. I have no plans at all. It's winter time, which is the completely wrong time to be getting rid of this car, but we'll see what happens, hey? I have no idea. Watch this space, and you will probably find out at some point in the future when I know and have a plan. But I've really enjoyed this car. Massive thanks, of course, to BMW UK for providing it. I hope you've enjoyed some of the videos and the content I've created with it, the X6 tour and the like. But I'm going to end it there. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed for all the rest, and I'll catch up with you again very soon. Cheers. I'm going to be jumping on board the Delta Red 675 LT with Rob, my instructor. And it looks breathtaking. I was hoping for